So, this video I'll be talking about the NBA. So, I'll be talking about kind of all the stuff going to playoffs. So, I think first thing, MVP race. This video will probably be talking about call it something like I know who will win the MVP race. So, I'll talk about that first. Second thing, rookie of the year. Third thing is the biggest one. I'll talk about kind of each big playoff team and what I could see for them. So, first thing I'll talk about is the MVP race. So, my rankings right now. Shea at one, Jokic at two, Luca at four, Wemby at three. So I'll just start at the bottom, go up. Luca at four. Luca, the way he's on four, I don't think he's on the tier of the other players, just because he doesn't pass as well as Jokic, and he doesn't have like the consistency of Jokic or Shea, but he also doesn't play defense as well as like Shea or Wemby. I think that he has been playing well, but I think that the kind of the foul baiting and people say okay Shea foul baits more if you believe that you don't watch basketball. He doesn't really drive. Whenever he goes for a layup, it's never a layup. It's always how am I gonna get free throws? How am I gonna like bait my way into free throws? Like it's never okay. Let me drive. It's always okay. Let me rip through. Let me slow down, change my pace. He's very skilled, and I think that if he wasn't doing that, he would. He could do. He doesn't have to do that. He's such a great player. He can just play the game, and he'll naturally be able to score like 30 without having to do all this extra stuff. Um, but I just don't think he's on the tier of the other players. Wemby, I think that Wemby has been making good push, and I'm very like I like to see it because I think that his defense is ridiculous. People don't value that enough. But I also think that he's 1 year away. Um, he doesn't have the consistency yet, I feel, on offense. Just in that Nuggets game kind of showed, late in the fourth quarter, he wasn't able to get a shot as much. He had that dunk over Murray, but besides that, he wasn't able to get open. I think he's still kind of learning how to deal with that player, the defense that kind of is smaller, but also a lot stronger. So like the Aaron Gordons, Alex Caruso, he had that game in the NBA Cup, but besides that, he's kind of struggled to deal with that kind of archetype where just very much in his face and really pressing onto him. But I think that he's been making great strides. He's kind of using that to leverage into fouls, which is fair just because they are fouling him. He will do a rip through, but also the guy's like on him and like pushing him. So that's fair. I can see that. I don't really think that's foul baiting. I think that's just getting the reps to call the fouls that are happening. So I would say he's 1 year away just because he isn't able to score on the level. And I think he'll win the defensive player of the year, but I don't think he'll win the MVP. So Jokic, I think he is the best player in the world, which sounds weird to say because I have met two. But I think that he's not 1 year away. He hasn't been able to show his greatness against Shea. So when they played last and Shea hit the game winners, and it was like really clutch. I think that really sticks in my mind when I think of these two. So if I was voting and I was able to pick, I would definitely pick Shea just because Jokic wasn't able to win those big matchup games. But he's like very good, best touch in the league, very good player. So I would have him at number two. He's one of the best scorers, one of the best passers, probably the best passer right now. So yeah, number two. Shea, one. I think he's gonna win. He to me is the most consistent player in the NBA right now. He has the 20-point streak. He's just the way he's able to play basketball, and though he does foul bait, I think that he is able to be so consistent because he is never too sped up. He's always very calm and under control. I think that if he's having a bad game, you can't really count him out. He's such a good player that he can kind of turn it on. He'll be able to get to his spots. He can get his shots. He knows that he's the best player, and so if the team needs him to score, he can score. He really just, he's the MVP. He's the best player. He's the most valuable. He knows when he has to play like MVP, and he's the most consistent. So I would say he's the MVP. Now we'll talk about the rookie of the year. So to me, Cooper Flag will win the rookie of the year. I think it's been very close all season, which is why it's very, devastating if you're Con. But I think that rookie of the year should go to Flag because partly, it's not really fair because Cooper Flag, he has more of a weight. He has more of the offensive load. He's shooting a lot more than Khan. And that's just because his team is worse. A lot more injuries. He is the offense right now for the Mavs. And so he's able to take all the shots and get the 50 piece, get the 40 piece, so that's a big part of it. I think that Khan is such a great player. He's so calm when he plays. He's very collected. Yeah, he's a very good shooter. He's a very good passer. He just knows how to play within the offense and get his own shot. I think he's very good, and he's really helped turn around this Hornets team that was very like not able to play well. Yeah, just helped turn them around. I think that he's been a very good addition. I don't think he's the rookie of the year, but I think it is very close. And I either think Cooper Flag will win, or if they do like the co-rookie of the year, then they'll do that. But I don't think that Khan will win the rookie of the year like solo. So now I will talk about the playoff picture. Who I think will win, my opinion on each team in the conference. So I'll start with the Eastern Conference. Pistons. I think that they're great. I saw them in person. They're really good. I think that they are missing a second creator, and like Dennis Jenkins has been that for them, but he's just not like on the level of a number two that you would like to have. Jalen Duren, of course, very good, but he doesn't really play with the ball as much. He's like the big number two, but he's not like he won't initiate the offense. He won't, go for 40. He won't score as much. He'll like catch lobs. He'll be a very good big man. He'll get a lot of boards. He's just not like the guy to be the number two to me. So I think they're great. I think that they're not going to win, but I don't think they have a lot of pressure. I think last season they were horrible. I mean, they weren't horrible last season. 2 seasons ago they were horrible. Last season they were like pretty good, but I don't think that they this year have much to worry about. Like this is kind of a test out year. Let's say, okay, well, we made it, one or two series in. We got to get a different person, so let's trade for somebody. We have some assets, so let's move somebody, get somebody else. I think that this playoffs is important just to test out what are they missing, how can they improve going into next season. So yeah, I don't think they're going to win the conference finals. I think they could win a couple series though. That's my opinion on the Pistons. Celtics, I think they're going to win the East. They have had a crazy year, with the Jason Tatum injury. I think everyone is counting them out. I also was as well. And I think that Jalen Brown has really stepped up and he's kind of shown that he can be the big scorer. He can be the big offensive player, which is just like perfect for them because they already have so much depth. They got Vucevic, who's been pretty good. He's just been very consistent, kind of the perfect player for their 3-point based offense. He's been great. So I think that they could they'll definitely win the East. They'll definitely make it to the finals just because they have so much depth. They have the experience. They know how to, beat these teams. They know how to stay in it. Even though last year was a bit of a, whatever, they kind of let their foot off the gas. A lot of times I think that this is their revenge season. This is when they win. Um, Jason Tatum, him coming back has also been just ridiculous. He's obviously not as aggressive on scoring. He's been very, he kind of just getting into it, which I respect. He has been a big playmaker though, which I feel is very underrated with Kada. I think that they have kind of unlocked Jason Tatum again. Like now he's less aggressive, but now he's able to do more with the ball, like passing. He's able to get to his spots still. So I think they're going to win the East. The Knicks, not really contenders to me. I just want to talk about them because they're big, but they're not going to win. They're not very good. They they're missing that like star talent to me. And I know Jalen Brunson has looked like ridiculous. He's really good. Like fourth quarter, he's like the most clutch player. So that's why it's weird because they just don't have the surrounding cast, which is again weird because they have Mikal Bridges, they have OG, Carl Anthony Towns, but they just never really put it together. They can't stay consistent. They can't beat all the teams they should beat. They're just never really able just to stay up. Like they're always beating them and then they're losing to a good team. They can't really, Jalen Brunson can't really get past that. The Knicks can't really get past that. So that's why I think they're overrated. I don't know if they're going to make it to the conference finals, maybe win a series, but no. Cavaliers. Cavaliers to me are the underdogs. I love James Harden. I love Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, great, just a great team. Max Strus has been injured a lot. I feel like people are really counting them out because of the injuries they've had this season. Um, they definitely can make a push. I could see them winning, like making it to the conference finals, depending on obviously if James Harden can perform, Donovan Mitchell can perform. I think they can, but I just think they have to prove it still. But yeah, like just that chemistry, like the way that James Harden can affect defenses, and just yeah, like he has two bigs who are so ridiculous. Like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley are just like so mobile, such good shot blockers. They have such good defense. Jalen Tyson is really good off the bench, really good scorer. He kind of adds another like punch to that team, which I think will kind of help push them over the line. Max Strus, yeah, he's come back from injury. He's really good still. I just think they can make a push. I think they can make it to the finals. I could see them. I could see a world where they beat the Celtics actually, but I think that that would be a very hard fought series. I don't know if James Harden can replicate his output throughout the entire playoffs. The Sixers, I think they could make a run, but they're very dependent on Embiid's health. His health has been obviously um, been a very big topic for them. They can't really rely on him. It seems like he's playing really good when he's on the court, but he's never on the court, and he's always returning from injury. He's always getting injured again. I just, they have Tyrese Maxey, they have VJ Edgecombe. I don't think they have to be worried about the season. I think, okay, let's see what happens to Embiid. This might be his last like year able to play basketball before his knees just like give out. So let's just see what happens. Let's play this year. Paul George has been great recently. So I think that, they could actually make a push. I think they can make a run. I think they can make it to the conference finals. If they beat the Celtics, I'm not sure if that could happen, but yeah, I think they can make a run. Now, I will talk about the Western Conference. So, first, Thunder. I think they're great. I think they're going to win the NBA championship. I think that the only thing that really stands in their way is the Spurs, just because that Spurs team, is very against countering them. But yeah, Shea has been so consistent. He's proven he's the best player. He can always score. They will beat all the teams they have to beat. Like, they're not going to choke to me. Just they have the depth. Like Jeremy McCain's such a big addition, kind of covered a lot of their shooting. Jalen Williams, like such a good player. They just are so good defensively, and Chet Holmgren is pretty good. I think that they're able to kind of just like go at teams. They have so much depth. They can just run. They can, play defense the whole time and just sub off like Alex Caruso is such a good defender. And I think they do get away with a lot of fouls. They play very physical, but I think they're very good. And I could see them, winning the championship. That's a very big possibility. Spurs, they're great. I think they're the second best team, but I don't think they can beat the Thunder in a series. I think they can. Okay, I think they can beat the Thunder, but I don't know how good the odds are, and I don't know if they can beat the Nuggets. So I think their game against Denver really showed their inexperience. Fourth quarter, what they were very good, but they're just they're kind of their offense stalled out. A couple turnovers. Wemby's not able to get to his spots. They kind of lost their punch. I think that they need a year, which is fine. They're a very young team. I just think that yeah, they're a year away. They could win, obviously, but I just think they don't have the experience yet. And though people kind of count teams out for that, they really don't. Like this is their first year in the playoffs. Like we don't really know what we could see from them. We're not sure what's going to happen. So I think that they can make a push, but I just think yeah, like in the big moments, I'm not sure if they'll be able to get past the teams that are so consistent, like the Nuggets, like the Thunder. Lakers, I think I never thought they had a chance before the injuries and everything. I think that they are too reliant on Luca, and he's not like the MVP level player to bring them a championship. I think he's not. His defense is like not like horrible, but it's pretty bad. His shot selection has been poor. He hasn't proved his ability to beat the big teams like the Thunder. They just keep getting blown out. Like that's just a big sign. That's just not going to happen this year, even without the injuries. And LeBron has been good, but he just doesn't play defense. He doesn't get up and down the floor for 48 minutes. He'll have a couple good plays, but he's just not good enough there. Austin Reeves has been good. I just don't trust him in the playoffs. Last year he's horrible. even with like without the injuries. So with the injuries, yeah, they're not going to do anything. Like Luca, he should stay out. Um, Hamstrings, not really anything you should be trying to rush back because it can be way worse. And there's just no point. There's no chance they win. Even if he rushes back, they're going to just lose. So I just don't see it. Um, so yeah, Lakers, I don't think they're going to win the series. I think they're done with the injuries to Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. The Nuggets, I can see them making the conference finals. That's very within their own possibility. I think that it's kind of them, the Thunder, and the Spurs. I think that they're a great test for the Thunder and the Spurs. I think whichever team beats Denver will win the championship. But I don't think Denver will win the championship, if that makes sense. I think that Denver will test those great teams and kind of show like how much they're willing to endure, like how far they can push. And if, the Thunder and the Spurs beat them, I think that that momentum from beating the Nuggets will carry them to win a championship just because the Nuggets are so good. Um, but I don't think that the Nuggets have that like power. I think Jamal Murray this season's been disappointing. I think he, when he plays well, but he's just been very inconsistent. If he can play really well, there's obviously a world where they win, but I just don't know. Very inconsistent. Um, Aaron Gordon as well, injuries. If he can play the whole season, like whole postseason, it's just very reliant on those players. Wolves, I think they're interesting. I love Anthony Edwards. I love Nasri. I love Jaden McDaniels. Bones Highland is very good. Like one of my favorite teams, but I don't think they'll be able to take down any big teams. They'll be, they can make it competitive, but they just don't have the playmaking. Mike Conley's, old. Anthony Edwards isn't a good passer, not good enough for the amount of gravity he has. He pulls so many players, but he can never make like the reads that you want him to make as a playmaker, as a scorer, as your number one option. Um, I think that their inability to really take advantage of Rudy Gobert as being this like crazy big man that can really catch lobs, and he doesn't have the best touch, but obviously you don't have to have him have the best touch. You just throw it in the rim. So I think their inability to really maximize his offense has really shown that they don't have the playmaking to make it past those big teams, which is really sad for me to say. Big Wolves fan. I just don't see it. Clippers, I could see them winning a series. You know, I don't know. I put them on here. They're not going to win anything ridiculous, but I think their addition of Darius Garland has been very good for them. It's kind of turned their season around from being this disaster to okay, now we have some young players. We have Darius Garland, we have whatever Jordan Miller, I think that's what his name is. Kobe Brown, I think that's what his name is. Like just all these young players who have a lot of potential. Kawhi Leonard's been playing like crazy. If he can continue this run, I could see them winning a couple series, like making the conference finals. Maybe beating like I don't even know. I don't know if they can beat any of the big teams, but they could, beat some teams. So yeah, that's what I think. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. I will be making Cam Thomas video soon, maybe this week. So let me know. I don't know. But yes.